All right, you've reached Chazz Says Anything. This is today's March 12th, 2024. This is episode 38, NFL 2024 season openings, free agent frenzy, and WWE takes over the Oscars. So if you like what you see, like what you hear, click the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to start with something that I talked about a little bit last week. We added to here. Manasquan basketball final appeal. Camden loss fails as New Jersey court declines to intervene. Now, I talked about this a little last week when it first happened. Well, the press on the Friday into Saturday put out an article. The clock finally ran out on Manasquan boys basketball team 3 days after referees disallowed what appeared to get a game-winning shot in the final second against Camden in the NJSIA Group 2 semifinal. New Jersey Department of Education Acting Commissioner Kevin Damer denied an appeal of the game-ending decision, which handed Camden the 46-45 victory. On a Friday night, the Superior Court Appellate Division denied an application for emergent relief, its last-ditch effort to reverse the outcome of the game and secure a spot in Saturday's Group 2 final. In the ruling, the court stated that, quote, while the consequences of the particular call may be unfortunate for a team, the NJSIAA's regulations recognize the reality that permitting such calls to be challenged on basis of error would result in ongoing litigation, appeals, and scheduling issues, since no game could be considered final if its outcome is disputed in court as a result of the alleged error by officials. It goes on. I'm trying to think, does it say anything else pertinent? Probably no, not really. So let me remove this. So let me do my little rant that I have with this. My biggest issue is that it's 2024. Do we not understand in the world we live in, professional especially more than anything else, that there is video in everything? This rule for high school sports, high school athletics, needs to be changed. I don't know. Well, I'm going to start a petition. Hopefully somebody does. Hopefully Manasquan already has. I don't know. This should not happen ever again. And I keep hearing rumor, and I hope it's not true, that this had to do because Camden had a one-color team and Manasquan had the other. And there was two black officials. I hate hearing that. But I hope to God that's not true. But the fact that there's video, and it's clear as day that this kid, before it hit zero, put the ball in the hoop. I'm going to stay on this a little bit longer over the next few weeks to see. I'm going to follow up. Because honestly, this is something that should never happen again in athletics, period, but especially high school athletics. For the most part, every high school is athletics, basketball, baseball, and football, mainly, and probably hockey too, and some others, are getting video. There is a network called the NFHS. They do games for everything. I've seen things up for volleyball, things up for tennis, track. There is video of this now. The NJSIAA needs to get its together. Change this rule. Let video be the final answer. Period. All right, that's my little rant for this because I just like I said, I'm very frustrated with this, and I really feel for the Manasquan families that have to deal with this. All right, football time. No, not really. Sorry. It's the opening of the NFL 2024 season for the teams, not necessarily for us. It's obviously not scheduled, but what happens on day one, which is technically tomorrow, March 13th, it's free agent frenzy. And we've had things happen over the past few days already, so let's go over a few of them. This happened first more than anything else. Russell Wilson signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, let's talk about this for a second. Russell Wilson, who had 22 a team that with 3 quarterbacks couldn't combine for 25 last year. Russell Wilson should be an improvement. Will he be an improvement is the question. If you bring one quarterback to another place, does it change the way he thinks and plays? I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh is a whole different dynamic. They have players. Do they have enough? They're in a tough division. You got Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, all with quarterbacks, all with offenses that can run and throw. And we'll get to Baltimore in a second because that's an interesting one. So I hope for Pittsburgh's sake, for Steelers fans' sake, that this is a good thing for them. But I dare to question. I mean, of all the top quarterbacks, is he even a tier 3? I wonder. So what more NFL free? There's so much, guys. There's absolutely so much. So what I've written down, and obviously number one, and you see the hat behind me. Number one, Saquon Barkley goes to the Eagles, 3 years, $37 million. So let me tell you my story. Some people already know this that I've talked to. I'm going to my locker room at work, changing. I get a phone call, and this is to go home. Yesterday. So who calls to tell me that Saquon Barkley is now an Eagle? None other than my lovely better half fiance, Beth. Her quote. Did you hear the breaking news? Nope, didn't. Saquon Eagles, 3 years, $37 million. I said, where'd you hear it? She said, SNY. I said, give me another source. Because when it's that breaking that quick, I need 2 sources. Most people need 2 sources. Most people like me who like to watch it for a living. So yeah, Barkley's gone. Am I happy? I wasn't at the inset of finding out. Since I've found out other details of certain things, I'm not as upset. He could have went to the Bears. He could have went to the Texans, which would have made me a little bit happier. We wouldn't have seen him as much. But let me put this down. Sorry, it's a little too much light. Okay. But he wasn't getting the money from them, not like he would in Philly. And he's going to a Philly team that wants his production if he's healthy, which we all know as Giants fans, he wasn't healthy all the time. He was healthy last year to a point where we had no offensive line whatsoever. So it'll be interesting. If I'm in fantasy football next year, I still might draft him, which is going to be a conundrum for me because that means I got to root for the Eagles to win and use him. So, yeah. The next one, big one. This is probably the biggest of them all. Free agent signing. Kirk Cousins leaves Minnesota, goes to Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons, hey, where's I need that guy here, the Atlanta Falcons fan. 4 years, $180 million, $90 million guaranteed. He needs to be a quarterback. It really does. If I can ever get my kid into football, which I don't think is ever going to happen, the quarterback is the way to go. My God, 4 years, $180 million. When he's done with his deal, he'll be 39 years old. The money he's making with this is amazing. $39 million. I mean, $90 million guaranteed to be a quarterback who's been good, but not great. So that's one. Let's see what else we got. Giants signed offensive guard John Runyon to a 3-year deal. That's formidable. I had no problem with that. Packers signed Josh Jacobs, released Aaron Jones, both running backs. So Josh Jacobs, the Oakland Raider, Las Vegas Raider, and Aaron Jones leaves. He'll probably get a deal in the next couple of days if he hasn't already, since I haven't checked everything there yet. Packers, and we lost our safety too. The Giants. Packers signed safety Xavier McKinney, 4-year, $68 million. Now, Giants did get a running back yesterday, and I'm satisfied with this one. And maybe I draft him in fantasy football. We'll see. Giants are giving former Texans running back Devin Singletary a 3-year, $16.5 million deal worth up to $19.5 per source. Okay. You know Saquon wasn't taking that deal. I'll tell you right now. Texas signed defensive end Denico Autry. Patriots and running back Antonio Gibson are in agreement 3-year deal, base value $11.25 million and maximum of $17.25. Not too bad for Antonio and going to New England. He's going to be running up and down. Panthers giving former Dolphins guard Robert Hunt. Okay, offensive guard. Pay attention. 5-year, $100 million deal. That includes a $63 million guarantee. Holy cow. Real quick others. Tony Pollard, running back who was in Dallas, signs with Tennessee. DeAndre Swift, he used to be Philly. I forget where he was last year. Will now be in Chicago. Gabe Davis, wide receiver. I want to say Raiders, or he was somewhere else. He wasn't here. He's now going to Jacksonville. And Jerry Jeudy, I believe, if I remember correctly, Denver. He's going to Cleveland. More signings. Eagles signed Bryce Huff. I believe he's a defensive back. Reached 3-year, $51.1 million contract. Defensive tackle Christian Wilkins gets a 4-year, $110 million deal with the Raiders. And the Bengals franchise tagged wide receiver T. Higgins, who immediately after he found out he was franchise tagged, asked for a trade. Also, we got a few others. Change of mind. Kicker Will Lutz staying in Denver. Gardner Minshew to compete for QB1 on the Las Vegas Raiders. So Gardner Minshew, former Colt last year, who played a lot last year, now going to compete to be the QB1 on the Raiders. And the trade that got me excited yesterday, and like I said, I still have more. There is more from today that happened. Giants to trade the like I said, it'll be tomorrow. Linebacker Brian Burns, and Burns agreed to a 5-year, $150 million deal. Now, let's put it this way. I've said this before on the podcast, especially with the Giants, that Antonio Pierce, all the way back in 2008, was the last great linebacker that we've had. Tell me every other linebacker, inside or outside, that we've had, and they're not as great as Antonio Pierce. This guy is getting paid like he should be better. Let's hope that he is. Put the C on his chest, make him a captain, and let's see what this guy can do. Let's see if he can wreak havoc, make our defense better. Better than it was. That wasn't bad last year, but we've got a whole new setup on defense this year. All right. Let's see. What else? Bucks bring back Mike Evans on a 2-year deal, up to $52 million with $35 million guarantee. That was the last one. Let's say Texans keep tight end Dalton Schultz, 3 years, $36 million, $23.5 guaranteed. Nobody knows him. Let's see. Nope. Guard. Okay. Chiefs. Interesting. This is the Chiefs. They have to bring back their linebacker, and they're paying him 3 years, $19 million with $13 million guaranteed. Name is Drew Tranquil. Okay, defensive tackle for them. Jerry Jeudy went to the Browns. Oh, it was a trade? No. What's a trade? I apologize. I thought this was a free agent. So the Browns traded for Jerry Jeudy to the Broncos. So the Browns get Jerry Jeudy. The Broncos get 2024 5th-round pick and 6th-round pick. So a lot of picks for the Broncos this year. And with Jerry Jeudy on the Browns is going to be good. Deshaun Jackson throw, that's going to be interesting. Patriots agreed to re-sign Hunter Henry. They needed a tight end. And Hunter Henry, they could not get rid of him, and they obviously didn't. Now this guy, and this was interesting given the new regime in New England, Patriots send former starting quarterback and former first-round draft pick Mac Jones to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Patriots get the Jaguars' 2024 6th-round pick. That sucks. The guy who started for you for 2 years, your first-round draft pick, and he's now going to be the backup to Trevor Lawrence. If he's good enough to be the backup to Trevor Lawrence. Baker Mayfield coming back, 3-year deal, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. And that, man, it's good to be Baker Mayfield and his wife. Kendrick Bourne re-ups with the Patriots, wide receiver. Russell Wilson, okay, his deal is $1.2 million, by the way. Okay, $1.2 million, but he's still getting $38 million from the Broncos. Okay, that's an interesting deal right there. What else? Michael Pittman signs a 3-year extension with the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. Bears adding Swift, $24.5 million over 3 years, 15.3 guaranteed. Viking defensive end. Titans land Tony Pollard, 3-year deal, 3 years, $24 million, so $8 million a year for Tony Pollard. He got paid. Raiders agree with DT Christian Wilkins, 4 years, $110 million. Man, big numbers. 84.75 guaranteed. Rams add another guard. Jaguars, okay, they found that's Jaguars with Gabe Davis with their number 2. Eagles find defensive end Bryce Huff. I was wrong. I thought he was a defensive back. He's a defensive end. 3 years, $51.5. Yeah, it's Eagles. Saquon, we talked about that. Kirk Cousins, we talked about that. Oh, well, that's interesting. So if you know this name, and a lot of people do because the last name, Vikings keep building their defense with Andrew Van Ginkel. 2 years, $20 million, $14 million guaranteed. He's probably one of the few people that's going to earn that contract. Let's see, Robert Hunt to the Panthers, Packers and McKinney, Robert Stewart, Geno Stone. Let's see, any other names we know? Packers signed Josh Jacobs, 4 years, $48 million with $12.5 guaranteed. That's not a lot guaranteed compared to what you're going to get. Gardner Minshew, 2 years, $25 million. Wow, 2 years, $25 million, and you might be the backup. That's interesting. Here's the trade for Brian Burns, the defensive end from the Panthers. So Giants get Burns and a 2024 5th-round pick. We give the Panthers our 2nd, 5th, and 5th for next year. That's a lot, but if he's worth it, it will be worth it. Commanders have their running back, Austin Eckler, 2 years, up to $11 million. Eckler's not a bad running back. He's like an RB2 for me. And then here's the big one. Chris Jones re-ups with the Chiefs, 5 years. Wow. This number is crazy. $158.75 million, 95 guaranteed. The Chiefs must be making money hand over fist. You're paying Mahomes $500. You're paying him $158. I mean, good God. Hopefully they never talked with Madoff. My Lord. What else? Carlton Davis, I don't know him. Jacoby Brissett more than likely will be the new, and this is scary to say, new New England Patriot quarterback. 1 year, $8 million. Titans get a center. Patriots bring back a whole lineman. Seahawks DL. Darnell Mooney, who was on the Bears, is now a Falcon. 3 years, $39 million. He doesn't know his new quarterback, but he knows of him, given that they played in the same division. This guy is actually a big one, if I can say his name. Chidobe Awazi. Titans address secondary, getting their cornerback. 3 years, $36 million, 19 guaranteed. This killed me, even though we got Singletary. And we could have got Derrick for the same. Derrick Henry, 2 years, going to the Ravens, $16 million with 9 guaranteed. That would have been cheaper for us. I mean, good God, that would have been so much cheaper. Patrick Queen going to the Steelers, 3 years, $41 million. Steelers will be at least good on defense. We'll see how they are on offense. And then lastly, Kenny Moore, the second, 3 years, $30 million. He resigns. He is a slot corner. That will be with the Indianapolis Colts. So that's that. Let me get rid of that. So I don't think did I get rid of this? Oh wait, no. I can try and find it. Let's see. Athletic. There we go. That's what I wanted to look up. So, this I saw in the Athletic. The 2024 NFL mock draft. I'm only going to talk about the Jets and Giants. I'm not going to talk about everybody. It's no point to do that. So, Athletic has got us picking who? Ooh. Trading out. That's interesting. Athletic has us trading out. Vikings would send the number 11, number 128, and the 2025 first-round draft pick to the Giants for the Giants' 6th, 3rd, and 5th round. Interest. So the number 6, the 3rd, and the 5th round. So I'm not trying to like that, but maybe the Giants would possibly think that they can't get anybody else. In theory, that could happen. So Minnesota would then take J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. They need a quarterback now, so that would be the guy to do it. See, what I don't like is they got Tennessee taking the offensive tackle, which I would have loved to take myself there. Joe Alt from Notre Dame. That guy's more legit than any of the last 5 offensive tackles that have come out. I'll tell you, I've seen enough of Notre Dame. The fact that he's the first OT to go and nobody wants an OT, or it's probably more they don't need an OT. But the Giants do. So that's why I'll be a little shocked that they trade out. So who do they got us taking at 11? Oh, so they got the Jets. Okay, they got the Jets taking wide receiver from LSU, Malik Neighbors. That would if he falls in their lap. Can you? Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is gonna love that. Put him with Garrett Wilson. He should win 12 games. Just by that alone. Now, this is where... Why would the Giants... See, this is where maybe they're giant haters at the Athletic. I don't know. They got the Giants picking J.C. Latham, offensive tackle from Alabama. Why wouldn't you take all at 6? I'm not sure I agree with that. So that's that. It just probably just does the first round. It doesn't have us trading back in. Doesn't look like it. That would be the thing I'm hearing we would want to do. No, it doesn't have that at all. Eagles, okay, at 22. I'll talk about Eagles too, since my lovely soon-to-be wife is an Eagles fan. Mari Lassiter, cornerback out of Georgia. Well, they could use another cornerback. And, oh, wait, that's another Georgia. I think they're playing to the fact that Philly is Atlanta North. I don't know. They've already got a bunch of Georgias. We'll see. I mean, yeah, last Georgia corner, Keely Ringo, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's possible. There's theories in that are very possible. Okay, round 2, they got us, the Giants, taking Tyler Nubin, safety. Yeah, maybe we need a safety. Giants again picking 47. We pick a wide receiver, Roman Wilson. I'd have to look him up. I don't know who Roman Wilson is. Eagles take cornerback Mike Ristel. Saint Ristel? Okay, well, I don't know what that is. Also, Junior Colson, linebacker out of Michigan. So, yeah, okay, that's interesting. Like I said, I'm not overly thrilled with that round 1 for the Giants, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to trade down unless there's like nobody that we were going to take to begin with. Let me get out of that. All right, so that's pretty much the football talk for now. I think I went over everything. It's almost a half hour already. So let's talk about this. The championships are this week. All the tournament championships are this week, men's and women's. So will Iowa, the women, do something with Caitlin Clark? With Caitlin Clark going to the WNBA? Will the NCAA, the men's NCAA, is spread out? I mean, there's one top team, and then there's the rest. Like anybody and everybody could have a shot, if they get the right 6 wins. So this is happening right now. The MAC tournament bracket and schedule. The only reason I'm talking about the MAC is because the MAC tournament is this local area, and it's being played in Atlantic City right now at Boardwalk Hall. So the opening round for the men, number 8 Mount St. Mary's versus number 9 Canisius started 3 hours ago. Should be done by now. And then one happening right now, number 7 Iona versus number 10 Manhattan. And then tonight, Niagara, number 6 versus number 11 Siena. So the rest of the teams in this division, number 1 Quinnipiac, number 2 Fairfield, number 3 Marist, and number 4 Ryder. Number 5, there's number 5 and number 6 as well. Number 5 is St. Peter's. Number 6 is Niagara. A lot of those teams have won before. They've won this tournament at least once. So obviously St. Peter's had their very popular run last 2 years ago before their coach went to Seton Hall. Ryder's been up there. Marist has been up there. I remember Niagara helped. Niagara Siena. I mean, that's a possibility too. But Quinnipiac has been a staple in the MAC for a while. Let's be frank. If you follow MAC like I barely do, but I know enough, the Quinnipiac has been the team. Excuse me while I open my soda. All right. So let me get out of that and talk about this, and I will bring this up on the side. So this is what I call Chazz's 2024 NCAA Basketball March Madness. I've sent 3 emails last week, 3 emails this week. 15 brackets are already up, 11 players in total. and you see 11 players, 15 brackets, multiple players, including myself, are playing at least more than one. So you can do more than one. It's $10 per bracket. I ask if we don't know each other, or I don't have your contact information, because if you have the information and I've not emailed it to you and you've seen it on Facebook, because I have posted it on Facebook, I need your information so I know where you're going to be paying me, and so on and so forth, and how to contact you. So get in now. Send your contact info to chazzroyalty@gmail.com. Okay, $10 a bracket. Like I said, I got 15. If I get to 100, let me just show you this real quick. This is what it looks like. This is me. Then you got a bunch of people. My buddies: Joe Beninato, Joe Bonello, Juan Carlos, Steve Benedito, Tim Kelly, Angelo Quinones, John Downey, Joe Fuentes, Michael Tice, and my only female to date right now, Khadija Mahid. Okay? So, 11 players, 15 brackets. Let's get this higher. Right now it's 3 places. It can be 4 going down if I can get to 100 brackets. Okay? Now do you see this? Again, it's a long way off. Jim Bowden has a report card for off season. Grades, takeaways, and predictions. I'll remove it. I'll talk about it, though. He's got the NL East, Braves, B+, and they're first. Let's see, people they have on their team: Ronaldo Lopez, and these are 2 pitchers, and Angel Perdomo, infielder Luis Guillorme, former Met. Okay. In trades, they picked up Chris Sale from the Red Sox. They acquired Jared Kelenic, former Met prospect. Marco Gonzalez, pitcher, and Evan White. Acquired Aaron Bummer from the White Sox. Acquired Ray Kerr, Matt Carpenter from the Padres. Matt Carpenter, former Yankee. Max Stassi, and infielder David Fletcher from the Angels. Acquired a player to be named later for Max Stassi. So they traded for Max Stassi, then traded away Max Stassi. Interesting. Acquired cash from the Royals for Nick Anderson. Okay, so that the Braves they could. Let's see. What is he? He has a season prediction first place. Very possible in the NL East. I don't see it. It's honestly, if it's not the Braves, it's the Mets of the Phillies. But he's got the Phillies at a C+. Aaron Nola, and I do trust Bowden a little bit on how he sees these guys. Aaron Nola got a free agent deal, 7 years, $172 million. So he's their ace. There's no doubt he's their ace. Zach Wheeler got an extension, 3 years, 126. So they're pretty solid pitching. Let's see how they are hitting. It says their biggest questions are their lower starters. They're 3, 4, 5. So you got them second place and first wildcard berth. See, he's got the Miami Marlins third. I'm not sure I buy that. The Miami Marlins only picked up Tim Anderson in free agency. They got a bunch of kids. Now, granted, the kids will play. We know kids will play. But to say that they're going to be third, and it says here, Marlins should sign DH JD Martinez. I just heard probably an hour ago, maybe a little bit more, that the Mets are going to sign JD Martinez, which that's interesting if that happens. And here, will the Marlins score enough runs to make the playoffs as the wildcard team? That's a great question. I don't think so. I don't think they'll be that good. Now here's the Mets free agents. All 1-year deals, except for one, Sean Manaea, 2 years, 28. Luis Severino, Harrison Bader, Adam Ottavino, Jake Diekman. Everybody but Bader's a pitcher right now. Shintaro Fujinami. Now we got infielder. Joey Linda. 3 more pitchers. Jorge Lopez, Michael Tonkin, Austin Adams. Anywhere from 1 year 13 all the way down to 1 year 800,000. You're going to have guys who are on these 1 year deals that are want to play for obviously next year's contract. They're all, unless injury pops up, they're all going to be playing hard every day they play. And Harrison Bader, you know he will. From what we saw when he was a Yankee, when he was healthy, to everywhere else, the guy can play center field. So the Mets could be good. Let's see what their pitching does, because Senga's out. So let's see what they could do. They did also require nobody, really. Adrian Hauser and Tyrone Taylor, no. Ryan Amons, no. Johan and Ramirez, no. So they got some work to do. There's no doubt. They didn't get Yamamoto. That definitely hurt. And now with Senga's shoulder injury, like I said, their pitching, the Mets pitching is going to be a work in progress. And we'll talk more about baseball in a week or two before it starts. I might do my places myself. I do want to do something since I didn't do it last year because I don't think I was on in March. But now that I am, I want to do this. So, like I said, they're saying 4th place. I'm not too sure on that, and I'll probably tinker with the wins and losses too. All right, so I'm going to just go through this. I don't care about anything else. I want to go see Yankees. What do they have in the AL East? The Orioles first. Grade A. The Orioles are first. Signing. Their one free agent signing was a reliever, Craig Kimball, $13 million. Corbin Burns, that's their big one. That's their ace. They traded to the Brewers for Joe Ortiz. They have a World Series caliber team. I'll grant that. But they're 1 or 2 injuries away from dropping. Just like the Yankees. Just like any team. Kimbrel's older. That's an interesting one because we saw what happened to Diaz when he got hurt last year with the Mets. Kimbrel, if he were to go down, that can hurt. But, they've addressed their closer, and that's good. But they got to figure it out. They got second. Tampa Bay. Okay. They signed Maton, pitcher, and Davinsky, 1 year deals. They signed the shortstop, former Met, Ahmed Rosario. Acquired Piot and Laduca from the Dodgers. Calabero from the Mariners. Pelosius from the Cardinals. Guys I've never heard of. Yeah, what's the takeaway? Ray's best move was extending their management. Okay, so the management doesn't play. I'm not a big fan of, we're going to extend the management, that's how we're going to win. No, not necessarily the case. See, now, what grade did he give them? No, that wasn't it. He gave Tampa a B. And predicts that they'll be the 3rd wild card in 2nd place. See, now you give the Mets as the Mets. You give the Yankees an A-. We're the number 1 in salary. And the 3 guys you got in free agency, all right-handed pitchers, and with what I'm about to talk about in a little bit, these guys are going to be very needed going into the near future. April, I'm talking about more than anything else. Marcus Stroman, 2 years, $37 million. Cody Poteet, 1 year deal, split contract, whatever that means. But he could be key to this whole thing. Remember that name, Cody Poteet. I heard about him today. He's been talked about throughout baseball that this is one of the Yankees' best pickups. If that's true, better than Soto, then we'll see how this works out for both the Yankees and Poteet. And then right-handed pitcher Luke Weaver, 1 year, $2 million. I think he's a reliever. Obviously, the Yankees got Soto, they got Verdugo, Grisham, Vivas, Ferguson, Morris. Yeah, those guys. And we traded a pitcher for Esteban Florial. Florial was not making our team. He has to, and he's going to go to the Guardians. He probably will play on. He'll probably make their top 25. There's no doubt. We got international bonus pool money from the Pirates for Billy McKinney, another outfielder who wasn't making our team. An outfielder, Jose Avina and Brian Sanchez. The Brewers, they'll probably play in AAA. Where does he got us at third place? See, I should, you know what? I'll go to my next, and I'll talk about this. And the first thing there, Gerrit Cole needs an MRI on his elbow. I wrote this yesterday, but there's been more today. Gerrit Cole, for all intensive purposes, okay? Wait, hold on. Why is this? Did I do that already? I did that already. Let me put this in the back. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Notes were just screwing me up a little bit. Anyway, Gerrit Cole, if he is hurt short term, we as Yankee fans should not panic. We have enough of power in our starting pitching staff. And if we have to use a kid or two from the minors, and I know this for, I don't want to say a fact, but I know this by being a fan for the last 35, 40 years, that the general manager that's in place has a pitching staff probably 8 to 9 pitchers long, which that means it's including minor league pitchers. So you have your 1 through 5. You have Garrett. You have Rodon. You have Stroman. You have Nestor. Whoever's 5 is 5. But then you have 6, 7, 8, 9. So if one of those top 4 aren't there, blah, blah, blah. Now, and granted, Garrett is not replaceable. Unless, it's not even a similar replacement. If we were to sign Blake Snell or re-sign Jordan Montgomery, that's not replacing Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole's 1. Snell is maybe a 1A2, and Jordan's a 1A2. Rodon's a 1A2. It's just, we need to understand that for us to do this, we need consistent pitching and only use the bullpen when necessary. These guys got to go 6, 7 innings. They got to. We don't have that many hard throwers, and with the hard throwers, you have other pitches. Hopefully, Gerrit Cole comes back by May 1st. I'm hoping to God there's no big tear. There's no possibility of Tommy John. That's like the worst case scenario. We need to bring it down as Yankee fans until we hear something pertinent. Now to Aaron Judge. Feeling beat up. Is this the Aaron Rodgers injury of 2023? And I kind of mean Garrett more than I mean Aaron, because Aaron may just be worn down for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense why he's worn down. Okay. So, you know what? There was another email. Let me look. Let's see. There we go. So this was talked about this week. Okay. Yankees, Mets, and 28 other MLB teams prospects gearing up for the what's called the spring breakout on Saturday, March 16th. The slate of games with all these different future players, probably players I just mentioned on some of the trades and whatnot that came about over the last couple of weeks. We'll be playing these sets of games, all 15 or 16 games, whatever it is. And a lot of them will be top 100 prospects. So, who are the Mets? Because this is a Mets article. Mets spring breakout game against the Nationals will be aired live 3:10 on SNY, ESPN Plus, and MLB digital platforms. It will feature some of the brightest names in both organizations, including 20 of the Mets' top 20 of the Mets' top 30 prospects, and 22 of the Nationals' top 30. The Mets, it includes relatively new additions to this organization, such as Colin Houck, Brandon Sprott, Sproat, and Marco Vargas, who are making waves in the minors but didn't appear in the big league camp. It will also include a slew of close to major players like Williams, Gilbert, Acuna. Okay, where do we talk about those names? Oh, my bad. Jet Williams, Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna. We all know who Luis Angel Acuna is. Dylan Cruz, and James Wood. And to add to that, Dominic Hamal. It should be a fun game for lots of fans to watch. So the Yankees are playing the Blue Jays that day. And I don't know the specifics on who the Yankees are. But I will be at a party, actually, so I probably won't get to watch it. I'll hear about it. I'm sure I can watch it will be on Yes, so I can probably watch something back, in my hotel room that night or something if I'm not too drunk. But yeah, so the Yankees will be doing theirs that night too. So, hopefully people will watch this. So hopefully to see what I maybe I didn't know about this before I promoted it. Maybe someone will watch it that didn't know about it before. Okay. One more. So, Brian Hawk. There we go. So, Yankees have a prospect has had a very memorable spring training. On February 25th, the Yankees prospect hit what he considered his first professional home run, rounding the bases in the Grapefruit League in the spring opener against the Blue Jays. He joked that he had taken a screenshot of the box score, his name appearing in the same columns as Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Then on March 3rd, the 18-year-old shortstop, who was tapped to take the lineup card to home plate with his father, George Lombard Sr., a former big league outfielder and Tigers' current bench coach. He wrote, "It was awesome. I got to spend the whole day here. I worked out with the guys in the morning, and it was just cool being around them. And obviously, the game and playing against my father for the first time. Hopefully, it gets to happen more times in the future." Well, no, I don't think it's happening this year. Lombard, I think, is slated for at least AAA, if not double. And I'd love to see him double. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Somerset. He will participate in the inaugural spring breakout game. Let's see, does it say who else is going to be, like I was talking about before? It does not. That's pretty much it. It talks about him. So this is going to be a kid on the up and come. I don't know how he's a two-sport. That probably goes farther in. But he looks like a lean kid. We'll see if he stays shortstop, because we do have a shortstop who was a Gold Glove last year, even though he batted less than just over 200. But it is what that is. All right. So that's the sports part, and I do have a few other things. So we got this. This happened, right? I talked about this. I promoted this the last couple of weeks. Oscar happened on Sunday night. there were highs, there were lows, and there were naked. Well, if you didn't see it, you might find it funny. I don't know if I can find the picture. I have it on my phone. I could probably show you on my phone. But the highs and lows. So let's talk about the lows. The one low I can think about more than anything else is Al Pacino at the end. You know when you're giving out the award and you're supposed to read off the nominees or somebody reads off the nominees and you kind of wait for that to be over before you open the envelope and announce who wins? Al Pacino forgot that. He made an apology from what I heard on TMZ. I don't know how, or Extra. Yes, I do watch those. Those are, I do get some information from there. But yeah, maybe the Oscars need to think about who they put into that spot next time. That wasn't smart. To have Al Pacino do it, I'm sorry, was not smart at all. Now, for the highs, who won? Mostly Oppenheimer, okay? And a little bit of Poor Things. I'll talk about that. Cillian Murphy won actor in a leading role. Downey in a supporting role. So 2 Oppenheimer, boom, bang, bang, boom, right there. Actress in a leading role. This is where Poor Things comes in. Emma Stone beat out Annette Bening for Nyad. Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. I apologize. Sandra Huller, Anatomy of a Fall, which looks very interesting. And Carey Mulligan for Maestro. Now, speech of the night goes to this woman right here, actress in a supporting role, Divine Joy Rudolph. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's riveting. It might make you cry, but it's wrapped up and they never cut her off, which is a beautiful thing. And she beat out heavy favorite America Ferrera for Barbie. Also in that, Jodie Foster, Danielle Brooks, Color Purple, and Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. I think Emily was just put in there just because Oppenheimer was in there. She was good. I don't know if she was Oscar worthy. That's just my opinion. Animated feature film, Spider-Man Lost, to The Boy and the Heron, a Japanese film, if I'm correct. Cinematography went to Oppenheimer. Costume design went to Poor Things. No surprise. Poor Things looks like a very interesting movie. Directing, Oppenheimer. I was pleasantly surprised because I thought that was going to go to Poor Things or Anatomy of a Fall or even Killer. Yeah, could have been went to any one of them. I mean, it was 20% all the way. Documentary film, feature film, a very interesting movie. If you're into documentaries, 20 Days in Mariupol. If you know what Mariupol, it's Mariupol, sorry. If you know what Mariupol is, it's in the Ukraine. I'll leave it at that. Not to get too political, but it's about what's going on in that time frame of Ukraine. Documentary short film went to something called The Last Repair Shop. Don't know much about that. Film editing, Oppenheimer, absolutely makes sense. International feature film, one of the top films of the year that was listed for top films, The Zone of Interest. A very interesting take on, I think it was Nazi Germany, if I'm correct. And it was done in the United Kingdom, so good for them to get that. And they even got like I said, they got a nod for movie of the year. Makeup and hairstyling, easily, hands down, Poor Things. Golda, Maestro, and Oppenheimer and Society of the Snow had no shot. Like Poor Things, they made people look very strange, and that had easily had to win that. Now, music original score, which obviously is more the orchestra, went to Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson. Beat out big names, John Williams for Indiana Jones, and Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon. Music original song. If you were basing this off of how well it was performed that night, 9 people out of 10 probably would have said it should go to I'm Just Ken. Because that was one of the eyes, and that was really good. If you haven't seen it, see that as well. Ryan Gosling, with most of the cast who was in the front row anyway, doing that entire dance. If you saw Barbie, like I did, and I remember that I'm Just Ken dance. To do it live was really cool, really funny. And not only near the end did they have Slash playing guitar, but they had Wolfgang Van Halen and somebody else who's a big name that I can't think of playing in I'm Just Ken. Blew the night away. Absolutely blew the night away. Now, the song of the year, the best song, though, went to a song that I even said that night to Beth. And if I ever do a countdown or a list, I'm going to be adding this near the top of the list. What Was I Made For? Lyrics and music by Billy. Oh boy, it's because I tapped this. That's what. Okay, What Was I Made For? Billie Eilish, Phineas O'Connell, and let me stop sharing. There we go. So what Was I Made For is honestly, my opinion, best song, not just of this Oscar year. It's probably the best song of 2023. I'd have to find something else to see if it quantifies. I'd even go, and we still have 6 years to go. This might be the song of the decade. I'm saying it here first, 50-something minutes in. What Was I Made For? Song of 2020s. And I'm saying it now in 2024. Let's see if that holds true. Best Picture, obviously, if it's Tuesday, so you should have heard Oppenheimer won, and that was a flub that Al Pacino had, and that was pretty. There was a few others. Interesting one. Animated short film went to a movie which I might want to watch. It's called War Is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Created by Dave Mullins and Brad Booker, but with help from one of Yoko and John's sons. So that's that. All right. So obviously I talk about this almost every week because this will be a little bit less to talk about real quick. WWE this week, less than a month away. I think it's like 25 days away to WrestleMania 40 in Philly. So a couple things that happened this week. This is a big thing for WWE. It surpassed 100 million subscribers on YouTube. That's a big thing for WWE. That's pretty damn good. 100 million subscribers, which they claim is more than MLB, NFL, NHL, and NBA combined, which is possible. That's a pretty big thing to talk about. And they're the top 10. They're in the top 10 all time of being having that many subscribers. I got 26, so I'm a long way away from that. Anyway, Sami Zayn looks for WrestleMania glory against Intercontinental Champion Gunther. So last night there was a gauntlet match, and so let's see if I can get to it. He wrestled. So if you don't know what a gauntlet match is, I'll give it to you real quick. 2 wrestlers start wrestling. 1 wrestler wins, another one comes in. It's as simple as that, okay? So Zayn came in 4th. There was 2 guys who wrestled, win. Okay. So Zayn is the 4th out of 6. So Zayn had to go through Bronson Reed, who had won his match. And Bronson Reed, they call him Big Bronson Reed. The guy is freaking huge. He had to beat Shinsuke Nakamura, and he had to beat Chad Gable. at the end. Chad Gable was 6. The other two that wrestled were Ricochet and JD McDonough. They were out in the by Bronson Reed, basically. But like Sami Zayn, for what we learned last night, and a lot of people probably don't know this. If you don't, look it up. I didn't believe it when I heard it either. Sami Zayn is Muslim. Now, let me tell you why that's a little shocking. What High Holy Day have we just passed on Sunday? High Holy Day of Ramadan. And he's Muslim. And for one of the things you do during Ramadan, which is a big thing for, and I know this from football players and basketball players that have done it before, is you fast. You abstain. And mostly from food. And he had to wrestle with this. I know football players who practice. I know basketball players who had to take off a month because they're doing this. He wrestled in a match 3 times over for about a half hour total. That's a lot. So for Zayn to win, for them having him win, he had to do a lot of physical work to get that done. That's insane. I give him a lot of credit. So now he's gonna go see Gunther. Sorry, I didn't say it right. Gunther. To face. Let's see. Right now he's got 664 days. In 26 days, that's 680 and 690, if I'm correct, something like that. He'll be around 690 days champion when he faces Sami Zayn. I hope Sami wins. I would love to see if Sami take the championship away from him. Gunther's been don't get me wrong, Gunther's been a great champion. He's obviously he's done it longer than every other Intercontinental champion you could think of. So what else happened on Raw last night? Seth Rollins isn't worried about Drew McIntyre. That's going to go for the next couple weeks. Cody Rhodes will bring the title to his family. He hopes so. I hope that happens too. The man engages in a war of words with Rhea Ripley. See, I will say this. Think about this, WWE fans. This is the difference between Raw and SmackDown. Raw has 3 hours. SmackDown has 2. What can you do in 3 hours that you can't do in 2? You can talk more. You have more conversation. You have more banter. In SmackDown, you mostly wrestle. In Raw, you get less of the wrestling, at least from what I've seen. I mean, this gauntlet took an hour, and actually one match, the first match, took almost a half hour. Ricochet and JD McDonough would not go away. It was insane. Anything else happened? Let's see. R-Truth, who wasn't even supposed to be there, he shows up and took his kicked by Damian Priest. So that was pretty much Raw. 3 hours of, are we done yet? What's going on now on NXT? Let's see. Nothing big. I know that. There is one big championship going on right now. Brooks Jensen to challenge Oba Femi for the NXT North American title. Oba Femi's a big dude. That guy's an absolute big dude. Latino World Order and OTM compete in the tag team title. Why is Latino World Order going to NXT? That's interesting. It's just like they're going back and forth. I don't know. Ridge Holland takes on Sean Spears. Sean Spears. I'm going to call you out if he ever watches this. Sean Spears, his doppelganger, is one of my old friends from back in the Long Branch days, in the Monmouth Lanes days, Cash Rogers. Let's see if he hears that. And then NXT Roadblock highlights. Okay, Trick Williams is returning tonight. Yeah, that's pretty much it there. Then SmackDown. I know with SmackDown, what's his name said yes. Cody. Well, it wasn't really Cody. It was more of Seth actually, let's see, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins accept Rock and Roman Reigns' huge WrestleMania Tag Team Challenge. Yeah, that's that is not a shock, honestly. Randy Orton RKO's KSI. Okay, this is good. This is good. So, the idiot named Logan Paul, and there will be a segue in a minute. So Logan Paul, it mouths off about to Randy Orton. Randy Orton goes and tries to beat him up, this and that. Now, someone named KSI. If you know Logan Paul, you know who KSI is. He comes out and tries to help out Logan Paul. And apparently there's a logo in the ring, too, of Prime, the drink that Logan Paul has. So, long story short, KSI somehow gets stuck in the ring while Logan Paul's outside. What is Randy Orton famous for? An RKO. So Randy Orton RKO's KSI, takes a drink of the Prime, spits it out, and dumps the rest on KSI. On his crotch. Let's put it that way. That was kind of funny. Lashley and Karrion Kross tear each other apart. Bayley vows to destroy Damage Control. And the best way for Bayley to do this? Get help. Not the Thor and Loki get help. They get help from fellow female wrestlers. And there's a couple I know that are maybe more likely to assist her in taking out Damage Control, because the best way to take out any big faction is multiple people. This is how I also think Cody and Seth need to do this. Get a few more people to help you. Get Randy Orton. Get Jey Uso. Jay's going to want to be on this. There's another match which I completely forgot. Now it's going to happen. Jimmy just has to accept. Jay challenged Jimmy at WrestleMania. There's going to be a bigger stipulation because they've done this before. So that'll be interesting. And I think that's it for WWE. Actually, we're just priming, ready to go for WrestleMania. I'll talk more about that as WrestleMania comes about. So this happened this weekend. It's actually Friday. Will Mike Tyson Jake Paul bout be a real fight or an exhibition, according to Boxing 24/7? It's okay. There's just comments. Tyson will get hurt, some say. Paul will hurt the sport by hurting Tyson, say others. Not too many people are in between on this one, but will be a real fight at the AT&T Stadium in Texas in July. Recently, two people have chimed in with different info. Not interested in different people. I have my own opinion. I'll say this. I've looked up Logan Paul and what he's done. I know Mike Tyson's old. Okay, he's 59, hitting 60, something like that. Mike Tyson only fought 10 years ago. And Logan Paul, like I said, Logan Paul. Jake Paul, he's in a different weight class. Like, he's got to gain weight just to at least somewhat be there with him. My prediction now is Tyson in 2 rounds. That's what I'm going to say. I truly don't think that, Tyson is only going to need 2 rounds. Like, he may only go 3. Like, if Tyson goes more than 3, then he might be done. So Paul's got to stay in it to win. But honestly, I see that as a 5 to 10% chance. I truly think, Mike Tyson wins this in two rounds, possibly by TKO. Now, let's invert this a little bit. Let's say it was Logan Paul fighting Mike Tyson for real, like Jake Paul will be. Logan Paul is more of a fighter. I don't like his character. I don't like the person he is. What I do respect and I do appreciate is how he got to the point he is now. And Logan Paul, in real time, a real fight, would probably take Tyson out in under a minute and a half. So right now, the Logan Paul is fighting Tyson. Good news, if you have Netflix, if you're a subscriber, like I am, and about 2 million, 20 million, I think it's actually 20 million others are, you get this for free with your subscription. Whatever you pay for your subscription, you get it for free. It's not a pay-per-view. There might be commercials. There might be, different things saying that it's sponsored by this, sponsored by this. That's how these guys are getting paid $20 million each. Okay, that's how this happens. So to see it for free, something's got to be paid for. All right, we got something sad for my generation and the generation before. Eric Carmen, an American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and keyboardist, died today, age of 74. He was first known as the lead vocalist of the Raspberries. I didn't know that. I had to look it up on Google and Wikipedia. And part of the Ringo Starr and his all-star band. Now, you may not know some songs. You may not know any songs. These are the three I know. Hungry Eyes. If you've ever watched Dirty Dancing, Hungry Eyes, when it's played, that's Eric Carmen. All by Myself, that lonely, ballad of All by Myself is Eric Carmen. And I didn't know this. And I've heard, so this was his song, and other people have covered it. Never Gonna Fall in Love is his song from 1975. And All by Myself was also 1975, but funny about that was re-released back in the 80s. Other songs, what song he did with the Raspberries, Don't Want to Say Goodbye. Make Me Lose. Oh, that was another one from the 80s. Make Me Lose Control. That was a great song. Love Is All That Matters from 1977. Go All the Way. I Want to Be With You. Overnight Sensation, and I Want to Hear It From You. So he was born in 1949 in Cleveland, Ohio. He leaves his spouse of 5 years. No, 2024, 8 years. Amy Murphy. He doesn't have any kids that I can see. Let's see. Biggest hit was absolutely All by Myself. Let's see who sang Hungry Eyes. Eric Carmen did, yes. Did Eric Carmen write his own songs? He was a frontman of the Raspberries. The singer wrote music that helped set the mood for several popular movies throughout his career, including Dirty Dancing. Eric Carmen wrote and performed some of the biggest power ballads of the 1970s and 1980s. So you more than likely have heard an Eric Carmen song at a wedding over the last 25, 30 years. It's very, very possible. So it's sad to hear that Eric Carmen is now not with us anymore. All right. Next, I've talked about this. We got a new article. Netflix at Fort Monmouth. Here's what the three towns demanded to okay the studio deal. The three Fort Monmouth towns have spoken. Eatontown, Oceanport, Tinson Falls. Those are the three. If you didn't know, they're in Monmouth County, New Jersey. While no town threw up any roadblocks to Netflix, its production studios here, they did ask for minor changes during the review period for all-important Amendment 20 at the former Fort Monmouth. They want smaller hotels, an increase in size of some of the no-build zones, and buffers between the studios and residential homes, and signage moved further from the Avenue of Memories. Now, if you know Fort Monmouth and you know that area and you've been in Fort Monmouth when Fort Monmouth was Fort Monmouth, say that 5 times fast, you know what the Avenue of Memories is. Our residents, this is a quote from Oceanport Mayor Tom Treverdick. Wonder if he's related to another Treverdick I know. Our residents voiced concerns about building heights and setbacks, and we answered them with clarity and came back with a reasonable plan. And after voting yes on the amendment last week, Amendment 20 is a much anticipated development of a motion picture television and broadcast studio campus, which is not contemplated under the Fort's 2008 reuse plan. That plan was drafted 3 years before the military installation closed in 2011 to be the master plan for the Fort's redevelopment. Yeah, Netflix wasn't around 2011, so they didn't know anything about it. As part of the redevelopment process, anytime a change to the plan comes up, the reuse plan must be amended to reflect the new use. So far, there have been 19 changes, perhaps none as big as number 20, the Netflix studio. The review period for the Amendment 20 began November 3rd and ended December 20th. It's a lot of words and a lot of work that was done. And Governor Murphy was part of this whole thing, working with, I know, every mayor of all 3 towns, including Anthony Tallarico, my friend. And from what I can see, Eatontown's going to get a lot of land in this splitting of Fort Monmouth. So that's really good. I'm really happy for Eatontown. I really am. One change in the permitted height of hotels in the mega parcel eyed by Netflix were reduced from 84 feet high to 72 feet high. Another was a digital monument display sign that is permitted in the mega parcel near the Route 35 entrance can be placed within 250 feet of the Avenue of Memories. Okay, not too bad. Eatontown has also asked for additional landscaping buffering between Rose Court and the mega parcel. Now that, if you don't know, is the side where Fort Monmouth is, where Broad Street is. If I'm correct, that's where Rose Court is. So someone can tell me wrong. Mayor Tallarico can tell me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, I'm curious. That was an entrance exit too from Fort Monmouth over there. I can't wait to see what happens. I would, not that I'm playing for a job with Netflix, but it's close enough. I'd love to work doing something in Netflix. It's a thought. All right, what do I got next? Okay. Nice little quick question here. So, who uses their phones too much? Is it parents or is it teens? I would think it's teens, at least the ones that have it. But I know parents that are on it when they're watching TV. Cough, hint, hint. Anyway, she doesn't watch, so she won't know I said that. Parents argue their teenage kids use phones too much, but it seems that the parents are also on their phones for long enough to make their kids complain. Well, not the kid in this house, he doesn't complain. A recent Pew Research Center survey gives us a glimpse of how teenagers feel about phones and social media. In this survey, 1,453 teens at the ages of 13 to 17 were surveyed, and their parents were polled by the center. Here are the highlights. The teenagers complain about parents being distracted on their phones. At a 38% rate, both parents and teens admit that sometimes arguing and accusing each other about being on the phone or time spent being on the phone. 38%, that's a lot. However, a significant portion claims to have never had such a disagreement. 1/4 of parents say that they never argue with their teen about phone use, while 31% of teens report the same. Very interesting. Nearly half of teens, 46%, say their parent is at least sometimes distracted by their phone when they're trying to talk to them. See, I think that's the opposite. Our teen, or soon to be not teen, is more distracted when he's on his iPad and he's on his phone than the vice versa. So, interesting. How is it in your house? I'm curious with your kids. All right. Again, so this is going to happen. I said this last week. Okay. United Football League starts March 30th. It's another football league. Can't wait to watch. Next, interview. These are two I really want to watch, and both of them have multiple seasons. So I'm curious if anybody's seen these previous seasons. Comment. I'd love to hear. I'd love to read. Interview with the Vampire season 2 on AMC. That means there's a season 1. I gotta see if I can find that. And Bridgerton season 3, part 1, is on May 16th, which means there's 2 other seasons of Bridgerton. Yeah, I'm not completely a British, watcher. I love Graham Norton, the host, but Downton Abbey, that wasn't really my thing. But there's something about Bridgerton I've read about and heard about that I'm like, maybe I want to attempt to watch this and see what this is about. So these two I do play. And Interview with a Vampire, I'm curious how that is with the other interview from back in the 80s with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, if anybody remembers that. I left this in for last week for these gamers. Remember the game? So any of the gamers that might actually watch this, NCAA 25 coming out, MLB 24, the show, is actually the pre-sale is tomorrow, but that's the pre-sale. So I usually buy it once everything is out, and then I wait for it to drop $10 more. That's what I like to do. And then WWE 2K24 is out now. They were playing it and promoting it on WWE TV, so that's out. That could be fun if you're into that wrestling stuff. All right. 2 more things. One question. It's a kind of a commentary that I wouldn't mind doing at some point. Maybe a protest, not protest, but some type of pamphlet to start this. Daylight savings time. Do we really need it? Or do we really still need it? I'm going to say this. What is daylight saving time? Now, and here's the kicker part. I wrote it incorrectly on purpose. It's really daylight saving time. Okay, the S is not there. So daylight saving time is the time between March and November when most Americans adjust their clock by 1 hour. We lose an hour in March to gain more daylight in the summer evenings when we fall back in November to have more daylight in the mornings. So there's a purpose to this, right? Okay. I just mentioned the whole daylight savings. Who uses savings? Who commonly uses it is Australia, Canada, and the United States. We have used it, but it's not the right thing to say. So if I taught you anything, that's what I taught you. The S does not go on the back of saving. Now, is daylight saving time going away? The push to stop changing clocks was put before Congress in the last couple of years. Was there news on this? I never heard it. Florida Senators Rick Scott and Marco Rubio are using the start of daylight saving time in 2024 to remind the country of bipartisan Sunshine Protection Act, which aims to end the twice yearly time change and make daylight saving time permanent. Well, so far, I don't hate it. While the Sunshine Protection Act was passed unanimously by the Senate in 2022, it did not pass the U.S. House of Representatives, and President Joe Biden did not sign this into law. I gotta say this. I really think we need to do this. I would be up for this being a part of anybody, President Biden, President Trump, if he gets elected, whoever. This should be part of their agenda in the future to make it just one daylight saving time. We stay on one time. We don't switch. And I tell you, it happened to me this weekend. We stayed up. We were binge watching. I'll tell you what we were binge watching. Maybe some of you have seen it before. Wrestlers on Netflix about OVW. And we watched all 7 episodes, Beth and I. We were up until about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Forgot, we knew, but we forgot that there was a time change. Well, what time did we wake up? 11:30. That was a little rough. It was a little rough of a Sunday, but we figured it out. So I will say this. Honestly, daylight savings, it needs to go away. Or daylight, see, now I'm screwing myself up. Daylight saving time needs to go away. I back up Rubio and I back up, who else did this? Rick Scott. I'm going to talk about this more. Maybe put this in the front instead of the back next time. Yeah, that's it for that. Did I forget anything in my notes? I don't think I did. Gerrit Cole. No, I wrote notes. Yeah, I'm good. All right, last thing. So today is March 12th, 2024. Tomorrow, March 13th, 2024, is the 9th anniversary for me and Beth. And our first date, I will share, because I didn't share this last year. So our first date was at a bowling alley. She met me at my league. We bowled. We talked. And I went to take her somewhere else, and I forgot. Wherever we were going, I forgot. But what I didn't forget, I was going 30 miles an hour down a hill in Aberdeen and got clipped for going 5 over in a 25. I got a ticket on my first date with Beth. That's the big thing. Besides meeting the now love of my life. So tomorrow is our anniversary, we will be celebrating this weekend in Pennsylvania at a St. Patrick's Day get together at one of Beth's friends over there. Let me go to Facebook. I can tell you real quick. Promote that. Let's see. Go to my events. Where will I be on? Here we go. The Ostrowski's annual St. Patty's Day party. It's been a while since we've been there. So, it's in Spring City, Pennsylvania. So anybody who watches in Spring City, that's where we'll be. And that's pretty much it. Happy anniversary, honey. She's getting her nails done tomorrow. So we'll have a nice, quiet day tomorrow. And then Friday, we are off to Pennsylvania. So that's why I want to tell people for this, if you're going to get in, you got to get in and let me know. I do have plans this weekend. Selection Sunday is Sunday. I'll be driving back on Sunday. I don't know if, I can do certain things here and there, but I can email certain things here and there too on my phone, but I won't be anywhere near a computer. So this is why if you're interested and you want to get in, you got to get in now. All right, this is the end of my episode. I forgot to talk about John Cena, didn't I? WWE takes over the Oscars. I completely forgot to talk about it. John Cena, if you didn't see him nude, check it out. Anyway, that's it for me. If you like what I said, click that right-hand corner, and I will talk to you all next Tuesday. Have a good one. Peace out.